Hello, I'm Claudia Lash, and today I'm doing some double blanket stitching on these leaf areas of a couple of blocks. You might notice this one is already finished, and now I'm going to do one more section on this side. The others have all been finished, and I thought maybe I would show you how I set up my machine to do this kind of decorative stitching. First of all, on my machine, which is a Bernina, the number of the stitch, I think, oh, there it is up at the top. It's 1330, and it's a blanket stitch, which you can see it on the side here. It goes in, back, down, in, back. And I guess I better start at the beginning. If you were starting at the beginning, it starts by going down, starts right here, and then it goes in, back, down, and continues. It looks just like a little ladder on one side. This part of the stitch always should be going into the top of the fabric. That's the fabric on top. And the way I set mine up for this project was I wanted my stitch to be 3 inches long and 3 inches jumping in, 3 inches wide. And then I also set my tension, because I have decorative thread. It's kind of tricky. I don't want my bobbin thread to come up at all. So I set my tension way down to 1.75. I also moved my needle over to the right. You can see here my needle is in needle position 5. It's far over to the right, and that's easier to control where your stitches are going. So if you're interested in doing a double blanket stitch, this is how you can try setting up your machine. No matter what kind it is, move the needle position over, take your tension down, and this length and width can depend. If I'm doing a small thing, I would not use this big of a stitch, but you can use as big or as small of a stitch as you like. All right, I am doing the blanket stitch. It's a double blanket stitch, and notice the stitches always go on the top fabric. In this sample, this orangey yellow is the top fabric. So I'm going to go over, but down, back, over, down, back, over. And I want you to notice where my needle is. This is another key to doing a blanket stitch. Put your needle on the far right side. My needle is on the right side, so that this edge of my foot is right against the edge of the fabric. So right now it's about time to stop and see if I can't pick up the foot a little bit, scoot over, so that I can see just barely a little spot there where I'm going to make my next stitch. Down, back, stop, turn a little bit more. This is much easier when you're not trying to film it. This is blanket stitching with a double stitch. And then I'm always looking to see if I have a little tiny, so I can see right where the edge is. The edge should be along that line. We're trying to go perpendicular back here to what we have. If these threads get in your way, move them out. Okay, I have sewn all the way around till I'm back to the start, and I am going to take an easy thread or needle, which has a little slit in the end there. I'm going to put my threads into that slit, all 3 of them. There are 2 kind of green and one is a bobbin thread, and I'm going to stick it right down in there, pull it through to the back. Now I have 4 threads on the back, and I'm just going to tie them into a nice little knot. You can also take them and feed them through the stitches if you like. I usually just tie them in a knot and snip them off. Notice I do have stabilizer on the back of my stitching because some of these stitches need extra stabilizing. This way they don't pull up your fabrics. Let me show you the difference between this guy and another one. Right, notice these are 2 different blocks. In this block, this leaf is on the top of the background. So here we need to make our stitches come down the side and jump in. Always remember when you're doing a blanket stitch that the jumping in part of the stitch should be jumping into the top layer. See how on this one we're jumping in to the top layer. So it's just a matter of how you position your foot as you go around. On these we're going to go around this way, but on these we're going to sort of go around this way. So there you go. 2 ideas for using a double blanket stitch.